Let's be honest, when you hear the words digital nomad, you probably picture someone on a beach, laptop out, right? And yeah, that's part of the fantasy, but the reality is, this isn't just some niche lifestyle anymore. It has exploded into a massive economic and cultural force, one that's literally reshaping how we think about work, community, and even who we are. And to really get a sense of what's going on, you've got to see the numbers.
I mean, the scale of this is just staggering. Look at this. As of 2024, the global digital nomad population is over 40 million people. This is not a handful of backpackers with laptops. We're talking about a global movement with the population of a large country. And its influence? It's growing every single day. Okay, so this just begs the question, right? Two big ones, really. First, how in the world did this happen so fast? And second, why are so many of them flocking to one specific part of the world, Southeast Asia? All right, let's tackle that second question first. What is it about Southeast Asia? What's the secret sauce that acts like a magnet for remote workers from all over the planet? Well, it's not just one thing. It's this perfect storm, this powerful combination of factors that have created the ideal breeding ground for this lifestyle to just flourish. The magnetic pull of this region really boils down to a powerful trifecta. It's all about these three big draws. It's incredibly affordable, the internet is surprisingly fast and reliable, and the lifestyle. Well, the lifestyle offers this amazing blend of vibrant culture, community, and adventure. But don't just take my word for it. Let's look at the actual numbers. First up, let's talk money. Affordability. Check out this number, about £623. That is the average monthly costs to live in a major hub like Bangkok. Now, to put that in perspective, that's less than a quarter of what you'd be shelling out in a city like London or New York. So you can imagine, if you're earning dollars or euros, your money goes so much further, buying you a quality of life that would be tough to match back home. And here's the kicker, something that might actually surprise you. The digital infrastructure is absolutely world-class. With average internet speeds hitting over 256 megabits per second in Bangkok, remote work isn't just possible, it's completely seamless. This high-speed connection is the essential backbone that makes the whole thing work. So you put all of that together, low cost of living, fantastic internet, great lifestyle, and what do you get? You get the global epicenter of the entire movement. I mean, Southeast Asia isn't just a destination anymore, it's the destination. Think about it. It's home to half of the world's top 10 cities for remote workers. Places like Bangkok, Canggu in Bali, and Da Nang in Vietnam have totally transformed from just tourist spots into these dynamic international work hubs. Okay, so we've covered the where, but what about the who? When people pack up their lives and move across the world for this, how do they see themselves? Do they stay outsiders, just passing through? Do they try to become insiders, to become locals? Or is it something else entirely? Well, it turns out there are a couple of very different paths people take. Take the stories of two French software developers both living in Bangkok. On one side, you've got Louis, who's kind of the outsider. He keeps his distance. After 3 whole years, he still doesn't speak Thai, and his social life is still very much tethered to France. But then you have Alex. He's the integrator. He's all in, learning the language, exploring the country, and really viewing Bangkok as a place to truly belong. But, for a lot of people, it's not so black and white, not a simple either-or choice. This quote from Harman, a digital nomad from Egypt, I think it just perfectly captures this third path. He doesn't feel like he's giving up his Egyptian identity. Instead, he feels like he's adding a new layer, becoming what he calls an international one. And that right there, that idea of an additive identity, that's the key. It's not about replacing your roots. Instead, as you can see here, that original national identity becomes the core, but it's now enveloped within this larger, more global world citizen identity. It's a profound psychological shift. You're not from somewhere else anymore. You're just here, with a history that travels with you. Okay, so that brings us to the engine room. What actually powers this entire lifestyle? How do they make the money work? And what are the deeper motivations beyond just getting a nice change of scenery? It's really a combination of a super clever financial strategy and a profound shift in life philosophy. The core financial principle has a fancy name, geo-arbitrage, but the idea is actually incredibly simple and it's so powerful. You earn your income in a strong currency, like the US dollar or the euro, but you live and spend your money in a place where that currency goes much, much further. This is the key that unlocks the financial freedom to make this all happen.
And if you want to see just how effective this is, look at this number. The average digital nomad earns around 85,000 US dollars a year. Now, imagine taking that income and placing it in a low-cost environment like Thailand or Vietnam. It affords a standard of living that would be incredibly difficult to achieve in most Western countries. But look, it is not just about the money. The movement is also fueled by a really powerful idea, popularized by books like The 4-Hour Workweek, the concept of mini retirements. And the philosophy is a direct challenge to the old way of thinking, right? Why wait until you're 65 to enjoy life? Instead, you intersperse your career with these extended breaks for travel and passion projects. You redesign your life around freedom and experience, not just punching a clock. And this all connects to a much deeper, much more modern trend. For so many, being a digital nomad is a conscious choice to prioritize well-being over the traditional markers of success. It's about escaping the stress of the 9-to-5 grind, finally achieving a better work-life balance, and seeking mental fulfillment in places like Ubud and Bali, which have become these global centers for mindfulness, yoga, and a slower, more intentional way of life.
All right, so we've seen why nomads are drawn to Southeast Asia and what drives them. Now, let's zoom out and look at the other side of the equation. What is the impact of this massive influx of people on the local economies and communities?
Well, digital nomads aren't just living in these places, they're active economic participants. On average, they spend about 35% of their pretty substantial income directly in the local economy. And that money flows into really crucial sectors: housing, co-working spaces, local restaurants and transportation, and all sorts of unique cultural experiences. And you can feel this impact directly on the ground. This perspective from Tiara, a local manager of a co-working space in Valley, is so telling. She says that locals are welcoming because this new wave of residents is creating new jobs and real opportunities in industries that cater to them. It's breathing new life into the local economy.
So what's emerging is this amazing, self-reinforcing growth cycle. First, nomads arrive, and they create demand. This fuels a boom in co-working and co-living spaces, a market that's growing at nearly 18% a year. In response, governments are creating new digital nomad visas, which in turn makes the region even more attractive to global talent. And the whole cycle starts all over again, but even stronger.
And you've got to understand, this is not just a trend for expats. The shift towards remote work is being embraced by locals too. In the Philippines, for example, interest in remote work among the local population skyrocketed by an incredible 173% in a single year. This shows it's a fundamental transformation of work culture itself, not just an imported phenomenon. Which leaves us with the big final question. We're seeing this powerful convergence of technology, economic incentives, and a deep human desire for a different way of life. So is this just a fleeting post-pandemic phenomenon, or are we witnessing the early days of a permanent redefinition of what it means to work, to belong to a community, and to be a citizen of the world?